My hero, my dad, the nurse, knocked out cancer. Written by Dr. Maggie Thurmond Dorsey, registered nurse. Illustrated by Mr. Lorenzo Williams. This book is dedicated to the memory of my hero, my dad, Mr. Earl Harold Thurmond Sr., who lived 1932 to 1985. Hello, my name is Michael David Daniels. One Saturday morning, early before daylight, my dad and I went fishing at our favorite spot on the bank of the lake. When we go fishing, it's just the two of us, my dad and me. My twin little sisters, Martha Elizabeth and Mary Esther, don't like fishing. They close their eyes and scream when my dad and I put worms on the hooks. They won't touch the worms. They are scared of the tiny brown worms. Silly girls. My sisters run away when we take the squirming, flapping caught fish out of the nets and toss them in the bucket. When we go fishing, we sit and wait and talk real softly so we don't scare the fish away. My sisters don't like sitting and waiting and talking softly. They giggle and laugh out loud and scare all the fish away. Dad and I get to talk softly about a lot of stuff while we fish. We talk softly about my schoolwork. We talk softly about football. Sometimes he tells me stories about how he cares for his patients in the hospital. You know, my dad is a registered nurse. My dad loves his job. He says that being a registered nurse is the best job in the world. My dad and I talk softly about all kinds of stuff while we sit and wait for the fish to bite. We just sit and wait and talk softly and sit and wait. Sometimes we even catch a fish. If the fish is too small, less than the size of my dad's hand, we just throw it back in the lake and start over. Or we just go home. We're not disappointed when we don't catch fish when we go fishing. We don't go fishing to catch fish. We go fishing to go fishing. While we were sitting and waiting and talking softly, Dad told me that he has to have a special test on Monday. I asked him what kind of test was he having. I asked him, "Are you going back to school, Dad? Is it a math test or a spelling test or a social studies test, Dad?" My dad said no. He told me that he was scheduled to have a medical test, a colonoscopy, on Monday. Dad told me that a colonoscopy is a special test where the doctor passes a colonoscope, a long, narrow, bendable tube through your entire colon. The doctor inserts the tube into your rectum, where your BM comes out, and skillfully advances the tube up your entire large intestine, also called the colon. The colonoscope is sort of like a narrow, long, flexible telescope with a camera, fingers, and scissors. The doctor looks through the tube very closely at all areas of the colon and takes pictures. If the doctor sees something suspicious, he takes a closer look, cuts it off or snips a piece of it and sends it to the laboratory for testing. I asked Dad, will the test hurt? Dad said that he was not worried about the test hurting. Dad said that the doctor will give him some medicine so that he does not feel a thing. Dad said that the only thing about the test that he was not looking forward to was the getting his colon cleaned out. He said that he would have to swallow laxatives, medicines to make him have a bowel movement. He said that he would have to drink a jug of medicine that would make him go to the bathroom a lot until his colon is all cleaned out. I said, "Ugh, that's yucky." On Sunday, Dad did not go to church with us. He said that he had to stay home and prepare for his test on Monday. Dad said that he had to take some medicine, a laxative, that would start the process of cleaning out his colon. Then Dad said that he would have to drink the whole gallon jug of intestinal clean-out. Dad said that his colon had to be totally clean so that the doctor could see every inch of it and take pictures. Dad said that he would be spending most of his Sunday on his throne. That's what my dad calls the toilet, his throne. Sometimes my dad grabs the newspaper or a book and says, "The king of the castle is going to sit on his throne." We all know what that means. Dad is going to the bathroom. Don't disturb him. Grab your gas mask and get out the air freshener. For Sunday dinner, everybody in the family, except Dad, had tossed salad with ranch dressing and croutons. We had honey barbecue chicken, brown rice, steamed broccoli, and homemade delicious, mouth-watering, melt-in-your-mouth hot yeast rolls. We had Mom's delicious, nutritious hot apple pie and sweet, real lemonade. Dad had some lemonade, beef broth, green gelatin, and his blue ice pops. Later that evening, Dad started drinking his jug of intestinal clean-out. Then, all of a sudden, Dad's eyes got big, and he took off running to the bathroom. As he ran down the hall toward the bathroom, we heard him exclaim, "Make way! The king of the castle is running to his throne." He sprinted back and forth to his throne all evening. The twins waved their pom-poms and said, "Run, Daddy, run!" Toward the end of the evening, Dad just sat outside the bathroom door so he would not have so far to run. Finally, Dad came into the den and said, "I have an announcement to make. There is nothing else left in me. I'm all cleaned out. The jug of intestinal clean-out is empty, and it cleaned me completely out. My colon is spotless and is ready to pass the test. I'm washed up inside and out. Good night, all. I'm going to bed." Monday morning, when my sisters and I got up, Grandma Tyler was there to take us to school. Mom and Dad had already left for the colonoscopy at the hospital. Grandma dropped us off at school. Grandma Tyler also picked us up from school. When we came in the door from school, Dad was home, sitting at the kitchen table, eating some leftovers from Sunday's dinner. He looked at me and said, Good. I love leftovers. I asked him, "How did your colonoscopy go today?" Dad said, "I feel just fine." Dad said that the doctor said that he saw a suspicious looking polyp. I asked Dad, "What is a polyp?" Dad said that a polyp is a small abnormal growth in the colon. Dad said that a polyp in the colon looks something like a small wild mushroom with a stem. Dad said that the doctor cut that polyp off and sent it to the lab to be studied. Dad said that we'll get the results from the lab soon. Then, with a smile, Dad said, "Let's finish off the rest of Mom's delicious, nutritious apple pie. I've got to make up for a day of not eating real food." Every day for the next week, whenever Dad asked me about my test grades, I remembered to ask him if he had gotten his colonoscopy results. Each time I asked, Dad would say, "No, Michael David Daniels, we haven't heard anything yet. I'm fine, son. You shouldn't worry about me." Finally, one day when I asked Dad about his colonoscopy results, Dad said, "Son, we knocked out colon cancer." I couldn't believe my ears. He said, "Colon cancer?" I said, "You have colon cancer?" My dad said, "No, son, I don't have cancer. I had a bad polyp that if it had stayed inside of me, it would have turned into cancer. But the doctor cut that sucker out before it could turn into cancer. My doctor made a jab right on target. He nabbed that polyp and knocked that sucker out. By having the colonoscopy, the doctor found that bad polyp and cut it out before it could turn into cancer. Now, that polyp is like a down-and-out boxer, totally defeated, knocked to the canvas. Son, I'm blessed. I said, "Dad, are you saying that to keep me from being sad? Are you going to die?" "Dad, I don't want you to die and leave me." My eyes were a little wet, but I was not crying. My dad looked me straight in the eyes and said, "Michael David Daniels, listen to me carefully. The doctor cut out that bad polyp before it could turn into cancer. Because I had the colonoscopy and the doctor found that bad polyp and cut it out before it could turn into cancer, we beat colon cancer. We knocked it out. It's an unanimous decision." It is so important for people like me to have a physical exam and a colonoscopy, even when they feel and look great. I asked Dad, "What do you mean, people like you?" Dad said that his dad, my granddad, Papa King, had colon cancer. Dad said that it is very important that he and his brothers and sisters all have a yearly physical exam. They also need to have a colonoscopy at an earlier age than most other people, so the doctor can look closely at their large intestines, checking for polyps. Dad said, "Michael David Daniels, when you become an adult, you will also need to have a colonoscopy." I told Dad that I am so glad that I am a kid and I don't have to get a colonoscopy yet. My dad said with a big smile, "I'm glad too. Go get our fishing poles, Michael David Daniels. Let's go fishing." When we got to our favorite fishing spot on the bank of the lake, while we sat and waited and talked softly. I told my dad, I love you, Dad. I am so glad that you had that colonoscopy test. My dad looked at me smiling and said, I love you too, son. You are the best son any man could have. Thanks for being concerned about me. I'm also glad I had that colonoscopy. And now you know how my hero, my dad, the nurse, knocked out colon cancer.